Oh,
I ain't got her yet.
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
That's where you're coming out, Taylor.
That's another thing. Mine's mute.
I'm sorry. I thought I had put it on mute
That's
when I put it
okay.
on charge, but
that's okay.
Anyway.
Okay, I don't see Jermaine there yet.
Mm-mm.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Shirley, I thank all of you for joining me in the middle of the day, but I felt like that, and I hope everybody's doing well. I've kind of kept up with most of you off and on during the summer, so you know, it's just been fast.
Sure.
boy, hadn't it?
It has.
It has been a fast summer, but I felt like I needed to get together with you, even in these uncertain times, for us to have dialogue and to at least have some direction. You know, I don't know exactly what everything's going to look like, but I felt like that I needed to start it somewhere. So, you know, that's where I am. I will be on jury duty next week unless they let me off. I've gotten excused 3 times, and I don't think they're going to excuse me anymore. I'd love to, but of all times, and they call me every year. It's the same time of the year that I get summoned for jury duty. But I'm going to go Monday, and I hope that they tell me I can go home and I can go back to work. So we'll see what it is. But that's why I needed to communicate with you anyway, but I knew I needed to really communicate since I didn't know what my next week was going to look like. But welcome back. We're back. And for Judy and for Sylvia and for Maisie, everything has been signed by the superintendent. It's just got to go before the board, which I don't see a problem with that next board meeting, but we can move on. Everything's signed, and they've got everything's been approved and back. So, you know,
Okay.
that's where we are with things, but I don't perceive any problems at all. And we go through this every year with this process. We do have the signatures, and that was the main thing that we were looking for. So we're on go with all that. Our official work does begin for the 2021 year, begins next Monday, and that's when the staff are supposed to return back to the public schools. I don't know what that looks going to look like yet, but we're going to move on, and then we will work with whatever it is that they do when you know, because I figure each one of your places is going to be, well, a lot of it's going to be the same. It's going to be different for every one of you, and you know, you're going to have to communicate with me, you know, based on what it looks like for your school, and based on what I'm going to need for you to do on this end. We'll just have to work individually with you with those kinds of things. I sent out, okay, bullet number 3, it says, follow the directives of your principal about meeting at your assigned school. You should assist them with needs as they work remotely with students for the first 9 weeks. Now, I've taught with, I taught with Mr. Leviner. I've taught with, who else did I talk to? I talked with Mr. Campbell at Red Springs High School. Anyway, based on, you've got to do your CIS work, which we're going to talk about that, but there's going to be some flexibility with what you do as well. And I'm going to give you the opportunity or the flexibility to work with your principal as needed. Like Mr. Leviner said that, Kathy, you helped a lot with getting those packets out last year, helping organize that, get them out. Some of the others of you may have done some of the same things. that a lot of that's going to be going on at the very beginning of school. Those are some things that you can do to help based on what is happening remotely, and helping as the principal needs help in those areas. So those are things that you can do. Just keep up with all that you're doing. Document like you did, when you from March 13th on until the end of the year. Just keep up with what you're doing for accountability purposes as well. I'm going to come back to the next bullet, the first week back to school supply drive. I'm going to talk about that. I sent you something to look at, but I'm going to come back to that in just a few minutes. I want to look at, I can't get my document to move. There it is. The yearly calendar that I gave you this time last year, I'm holding off on that because I need to see what something more defined is going to look like before I give you that. We've got time anyway on that. I just was able to give it out to you last year because everything had already been defined and I knew what the year was going to look like. But right now, I'm going to hold off on that, and you'll have something in the next couple of weeks based on what the yearly calendar should look like. I talked with Akila, not talked with her, I communicated with Akila last night and this morning. And remember when she came at the beginning of the school year last year, I met with y'all first, and she gave me all this stuff and said that, that she wanted you to do this amount of work prior to her coming, and then she spent the day with us at the academy, and or a better part of the day, helping us, get everything implemented in the system and getting started. Well, she's willing to do that again with us virtually this time. I've listed down here, if you'll see the bullets below this, I've listed things that you can go ahead and get started on. And I pulled this from the agenda from last year. So this is no different than how we started last year, where your caseloads will be the same. You will complete, if you need, update your user profiling system. Your caseloads will be the same. Enroll students from your previous year in the system automatically. Now, Ms. Myrna, help me. Didn't they say in one of those meetings we've listened to so much that we did not need parent signatures on the forms, that we could get that verbally, that we could document that they had said it's okay for them to continue in the program? Didn't they tell us that in that meeting?
Yes,
That's what
but
I thought.
remember, we could use the old permission form that they had signed because the date went, what, 12/9/9/99?
And all we were going to do is communicate back with them based on the numbers that we have. Just communicate back with them and let them know that we were continuing services with their children. And you were just going to document that you had via phone. You have just reminded them that, and we were going to send a letter out too. We were going to do some type of letter that when we can, that can't do anything right now. We could send them an email or something, but you will work with your current load. Will begin with the students that you were working with last year, and then you will begin working on filling the slack with students even over this 9-week period. There will be times that you will be communicating with parents, and if it's a feeder school, just like you'll figure it out, but just begin working with your principal, working with the guidance counselors, working with communicating with the teachers best you can, and go ahead and begin working with getting your new students enrolled virtually as you need to. But just don't sit and wait until they come back in 9 weeks and think, well, now I can start start working on building that caseload now, however it's done. And every one of you will probably approach that differently. And when we come back together again, somebody may have done something, you may have thought of something that you can share with each other, communicate with each other, and then we'll share then that will help in building our caseloads as well. Some of you may have some ideas now before we move on. Have you thought about it? Okay. And then I've listed the things that you can work on: identifying and enrolling any new students, gathering components needed for your school support plan. And you see all the things listed for that. Gather fall components needed for student assessment and support plan completion, knowing you know what to do there. Now, one of the things that we've got to begin looking at based on COVID, and Akila may be able to help us with this as well, but I don't want us just to depend solely on her. Based on us working virtually, what will our tier 1 and tier 2 supports look like this year? Have y'all begin thinking about that?
A little different.
Okay. Okay.
Totally different.
Let's talk about it. Let's
Yeah.
talk about it. Let's talk about that now. What
Probably could do
have we
something
been doing that will
virtually.
continue? What have we been doing that you can continue to do virtually, that as we look at our tier 1 and tier 2 supports for this year?
Well, for the academy, we usually try to get in one of the programs at UNCP. So right now, Strike at the Wind is a virtual program that UNCP is sponsoring. So we might want to plug into that.
I think that's a great opportunity. Yes.
think-
Well, now, couldn't some of the rest of us plug into that too?
Yes, you could. Yes, you
Yeah.
could, because it's a part of our county and it's a cultural experience
Absolutely,
for our
yeah.
children. Yes.
So now, I'll just get with Miss Myrna or somebody to tell me how to actually do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that too, Miss Myrna.
Okay.
We all would.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try to get
Miss
that
Myrna?
information and make sure I give it to everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
So
And I'll see it. RCC, can we plug back into that, do a virtual tour RCC like we did before for 8th graders? You know, we did that tour.
Mhm. Okay.
okay, that's a good idea.
And I
Do
would
you
think
know
about
if she's gonna do
speaker.
that, or have they said anything about doing a virtual tour?
Our RCC will do anything that.
I'll
that we
call
need
them and
them to
ask
do.
her. I'll call and ask her, because I was gonna get some speakers from over there for some of the kids, you know, on different topics,
Mhm.
and get a virtual one like that. And I was gonna go back and get CFNC, and see if they could do a virtual
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, she's great. She's great.
information
If-
for our
if you-
kids and do it virtually.
Hello?
If you will do that,
Yeah.
Maisie, if you will do the one for our
I'm doing a
RCC,
virtual meeting right now.
I can get in touch with the girl from CFNC. I
Brittany.
still have her card.
yeah, and you and Shirley both. Shirley
Oh,
does
okay,
that too.
Shirley, you can
So
do
either
that.
one
That'll be
of you,
fine.
as long as y'all kind of share the load with, the workloads on this, and everybody contacting something differently. What I'm saying this, I just wanted to get it started. You need to think about what are your tier 1s and tier 2 supports going to look like this year. And when we come back together, I want you to be able to have a more defined look at this, so that we can share and we can come to some type of consensus, so that if it's something that we can all use and do and we need, then by all means we'll do that. But I think with everybody putting their thinking caps on, and when we come back together, we will have a variety of things that we can choose from. But we've got to look at, working virtually and even when it's face to face, it's going to be different than, you're not going to have your whole school there at one time. So, what is it, what is this going to look like? So begin thinking about that, and putting some thoughts together about that. Anything else before I move on from that? I really just wanted to highlight that, to let you know that it's something that we've got to give some immediate thinking to.
Okay.
I'm concerned about my I guess I just won't have my lunch buddies program at once. Well, I guess I'll just worry about that when the time comes.
Okay.
But I was wondering,
Mhm.
I'll worry about that when the time
Yeah,
comes. So we've got
and-
enough to worry about.
And Judy, I'm going, all of you know that you can go into Zoom and you can set up your own free Zoom accounts, don't you?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Okay.
you can do Zoom for 30 or 35 minutes and it doesn't cost a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the directions for that. Judy,
Well, that could be a lunch buddy
you could
thing.
you could reach out to them and you could do a Zoom with them while they're having lunch and talk with them, 2 or 3, you could talk to more than one at a time. You could, or either one-on-one with them like that and you can do your lunch buddies that way and that would count.
Okay, I hadn't thought about that, but I can, well, I'll have to get some direction, but
Yeah, and
We can
I'll send
worry
that
about that.
information out to y'all about how to set up your own Zoom account.
Okay, that sounds good.
I've
I
got
was
that.
thinking about Zoom as well, setting up an account, Dr. Stephen, and I was thinking that could be a way for us to do our Y-Try with
I
our
was
Right.
going to say that, yes.
Yeah.
You can do Y-Try because you don't need more than about 30 minutes
right.
at a time with
No.
those kinds of things.
Uh-huh.
anyway. So when you set up your free Zoom account, you can do that. You can do your
Girl circle.
girls circle, boys council, all of
Okay.
that.
All of that.
So let's go ahead and
Girl
establish
circle.
that we're going to set up. I'm going to send the information for you to set up your free Zoom accounts,
Mhm.
Okay,
and that we're going to plan to not wait for the 9 weeks. We're going to go ahead and reach out, and you're going to be creative, and you're going to go ahead and figure out how to begin those kinds of things that you would normally do, but you're going to do it virtually.
Right.
Uh-huh.
That's good.
Yes.
Good. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
I've already got mine outlined, Dr. Stedman. I worked
Okay.
on it this summer.
Okay, good.
Mm.
When I talked with Akila, what Akila wants before she meets with us, and let me go ahead and give you that. Let me find my calendar. Akila's going to meet with us on virtually on okay, on August 17th at 9:00 a.m. that morning. And at this point, I'll let you know whether that's going to be, whether yours, it'll be virtual, but I'll let you know if there's a need at that point for us to meet here at my office that day, because I've got a large area where we can spread out, and it may be a time that we need some time that we can spend, work on some other things as well. So I'll let you know. I don't want to do her again at the academy, because you remember that echo we had and the problems we had. We
Mm-hmm.
tried to do that before.
Yes.
I don't know. So I don't want to do that with her there. So if I do need you, I'll have you to come here. And if not, then it'll just be a virtual wherever you are. I'll let you know more about that. But put down on your calendars, August 17th, 9:00, Akila. And what I need for you to have done by then is anything as it relates to system. I'm going to need it ahead of time. Akila wants a list of questions of things that you are going to need her to help you with. Things that need to be addressed. I need for every one of you to send me and even if it's repetitive, I can figure that out. I'm going to do this. I want you to send all of those questions to Ms. Myrna, and then Ms. Myrna will compile them and get a compiled list to me. Is that okay, Ms. Myrna?
Yes.
Will you do that? And I think it'll be easier that way. if you will send it to Miss Myrna, and then Miss Myrna is going to go through it and she'll compile a list for me based on what your needs are with that. And Miss Myrna, if to give her time, let's say that you need to have all your questions to Miss Myrna by next Wednesday, by August 12th.
Okay.
And that's coming. Just want to let you know that your student support specialist handbooks, we're going to update them. Miss Myrna has set up a perfect model for us to go by, and Shirley really believes in what Miss Myrna has done. So I think we're going to emulate a lot of what Miss Myrna does, and so the student support specialist handbook is a work in progress too. And probably what we'll do is, however that needs to look, probably we will come together on the 17th, and that's on that day we can go ahead and take care of giving out whatever we need to give out with the changes in your handbooks as well, and we can go over those things. So let's just plan to be here at my office on the 17th.
Okay.
Let's just plan to do that. I sent all of you the information to join August 6th from that is when? That's Thursday.
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 This is with Ray Saldala. He is our national CIS president, and this is just a kickoff training, or his motivational speech, or whatever you want to call it. And the reason the time is like it is, he is in California, so their time is different than ours. So he will actually be what, 12:30 or 1 o'clock.
They're 3 hours behind us.
They're behind us.
3 hours.
3 hours. So anyway, that's why the time looks like it is, because he's on the West Coast talking to us. So that's why that looks like it is. But most of you, I've seen where most of you have let me know that you have signed up for this already, and and that you've taken care of that. Before I go to the next thing, which is probably going to be, giving you some directions for next week, what questions would you have at this time, or what would you like to share? Anybody? Has anybody heard from their principals about what you're supposed to do yet?
I haven't. But
I
I
haven't.
thought
I haven't.
Mr. Levine or later this week
Okay.
to find out. Maybe Wednesday.
And they probably don't know yet what
Right.
what all that's going to look like. And again, we're not going to stress over this. We will work with what we've got to work with, and
Right.
do what we can.
May I ask this, Dr. Stedman?
Sure.
When are we supposed to have our school agreements form signed?
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
That is a question you can send to Miss Myrna, because those are things that we would need
Okay.
to ask Akila about, because I don't know what the deadlines
Okay, great.
are on
Okay.
those kinds of things as well. So those are things that we can address at that time. I would think you would go ahead and work on what you can work on, and if you get it done, just go ahead and knock it out,
Yeah.
when you can.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me pull this up. I sent this out last week. I got some. We received an email from the state office, and the email was, and I actually had started on this before I got the email from the state office, because Judy and all of you can remember, that's been around with CIS for a while. Judy would remember this, where Dency for several years did Stuff the Bus. And all of you would remember seeing the yellow school buses probably in June and July, you would see the yellow school buses parked out in front of
Yeah.
Walmart and all those places like that in the
Yes.
parking lots. And at the time, they would fill, and we had them in all communities. And the people would
No.
buy things, and they would go put them on the buses and boxes on the buses, and they would distribute them, to the schools, spread them out to the schools, and that helped a lot of children with back to school supplies that, with parents that needed help. That stopped about probably 4 or 5 years ago. I
4
don't
years
know.
ago, yeah. Mhm.
And then after that, the State Employees Credit Union started an initiative, and they actually set up boxes, and they would give supplies. And then, there were a few other places, but the initiative pretty much had stopped.
Mm.
So
Well, now, my church and actually Mountain Air donated lots of things to my school, to the schools here last year.
okay.
We still do that here, and I don't know if Mountain
Yeah.
Air will do that this year or not. I'm gonna try
Yeah,
to
well,
talk to someone.
that is where we are with things. Now, again, remember when I told you, I said this is a work in progress. Nothing is set in stone. It's just I put something out there for us to begin looking at. But not to insult your intelligence, but let's just kind of look through this and let's talk about it. I want CIS to be responsible for launching a back to school drive for school supplies, focusing on the virtual environment, because I think that is going to be the catchy thing right now, because students are away from school for the first 9 weeks, and it could be longer. We hope not, but it could be longer. But looking at school supply needs. You can't get into the banks anymore, so you can't put anything there, because people can't go into the banks. They can only go through the drive-through unless you set up an appointment. So you're not going to get what you need there. But the purpose of this campaign,
Thanks.
as I envision, is to reach out to our community or communities in an effort to collect a variety of supplies that can be distributed to our students for at-home use while doing school in a virtual environment. CIS would be reaching out to all businesses, citizens, and faith-based communities, going back to your church, Judy, to join our effort to collect needed at-home supplies that will be distributed to students in need while working in a virtual environment. And then what I had thought about doing is, the boxes, and we've got out there on, is it on 211 or 72, that corrugated business, what is it called? They sell, they do manufacture boxes out there. You know what I'm talking about? Kathy,
I'm not sure.
you're muted, Kathy.
We got Graphic Packaging International.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Let me ask you this, Kathy. If we move forward with this, would you be willing to contact them and talk to them about what we are wanting to do, and to see if they would donate boxes big enough that we could put in
Yes.
churches in different locations?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
But what I had looked at, and again, I put this down here, we really don't need this because all of you know, but I was looking at what would be you could come up with what would a pre-K through second grade recommended supply list look like? What would a 3 through 5 supply list look like? 6 through 8, and then a 9 through 12. What would be some things that, because we could actually come up with a list of things that if in our churches that they could give out, Judy, that people would say, well, what do they need? And if they had a piece of paper with some on it, they say, oh, well, I can get this, or they put it in their pocketbooks, the women would, and when they're there, they would pick up 2 or 3 of those items based on what was on that list. Kind of like we did when we did the food drive in front of Lowe's Food, and we had a list of things, recommended things for them to do. So think about that.
Mhm.
I even put this set up an online opportunity to give. That may be something that we could think about. And I just put this down. I just thought about, you know, areas that we could work with. I said
Mhm.
Kathy in the Lumberton area, and then coming up with whatever volunteers. My backpack pal people would actually help in this area as well, and I would pull them in. The Pembroke area, Miss Myrna, and I put Tasha's name down there, Miss Myrna, because she's going to be brought back in to help with things that we need help with, getting out things to the children in that community. So I just put that down as a starter. I put the Maxton Prospect area, Sylvia and Miss Sonia from my office working with Miss Sylvia,
Okay.
and Miss Sylvia knows those areas pretty well. Miss Sylvia has actually worked in Maxton as well.
Yeah, I have.
As yeah. I looked at Jermaine's from the Fairmont area, and Maisie, I knew that you're from the Roland area, you work there, and you probably know people from the Fairmont area, but I put Maisie and Jermaine working together in those areas, and then I put Shirley, and then we're going to have an intern and then I was going to pull anybody else in with the St. Paul's Parkland area, and I know that area, so I would be able to assist her with that. And then Judy and Tim work in the Red Springs, the Lumber Bridge area. I tried to fit them, you know, as best I could with that, and then pull in other people as needed. But that's just a start. What I want y'all to do is I want you to you have thought about it already, but I want you to think about it more, and what the plans are is, I know you've got to report to your schools some next week if they do, but the
Yeah.
majority of the week, this is what I want next week's focus to be. Working on getting this work, making your contacts, getting your letters together, you know, coming up as a team, deciding, well, I'll do the letter, I'll do the list, I'll do this, I'll do that, coming up to do, and I figured the best place to meet to do all of this, because you can spread out, is in that large room at the academy. Because all of you could spread out, you can put the boxes in there, decorating your boxes, putting the information on that, and doing what you needed to do there so that we could get stuff out into our communities, get boxes to the churches. Ask Dollar Generals, can you put a box in there? Any place that you could think of. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay, I've
Right.
said a lot now. Y'all tell me what you're thinking based on what my mind is going a million miles an hour right
Yeah,
now.
and Dr. Stedman, we can also put a box in Dollar Tree, because I was in there a few weeks ago, and whenever I was checking out, they asked if I wanted to donate money so that they could have school supplies or donate school supplies to students. So that might be a good place we could start too. And also maybe Walmart, because I know the school supplies that we got last year, a lot of those were from Walmart.
Well, and you and your team would be,
Yes.
once we get your team, would actually approach them. Miss Myrna and Miss Sonia's brother actually is one of the assistant managers at the Walmart in Pembroke.
Oh, okay.
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 So, I
Good.
mean, those are all, you know,
Mhm.
it's just all also, and Judy, I actually could, I could afford to pay Sharon and
Here,
Tierra a little bit of money, since the students are not back, to assist with this as well. So they could be pulled in the Red Springs area to help with some things with that, because they know a lot of people in a lot of places.
yeah.
And I would feel sure that Tim would be able to pull Eva in to help him some. I bet Francis would help some, you know, with some of this. You've got a lot of good community people that I think would work in there. And Sylvia, I see Prospect doing the same thing. You can pull Prospect people in. Again, I would have to help Shirley in this area, and then Maisie, you and Jermaine, I think, could figure it out easily in the Fairmont and the
The rolling area.
Roland area. I think
Yeah.
you would be able to work that out. And I would, I mean, you got a famous football player that's from that area that probably would help you out some too. You know
What
what? I said, you got a famous football player from the Roland area that probably would help you out too.
Yeah, he live here in Lumber, but I think
Yeah.
I get help. I got
Yeah.
a couple of sisters down there too, Deltas
Yeah.
and NAUW sisters.
Yeah.
So in the
Mhm.
Rolling area. So I have some contacts.
Yeah.
And plus
And-
I worked at the schools down there, so I still have that contact.
Oh, you do.
My
Again,
comment,
If we go back, I would have to give Shirley would need my help in her areas because that would be new territory, but she's going to have an intern. Kathy, Shirley's going to have an intern working with her this semester. Did that person ever call you, Kathy?
Yes, she did. And in fact, we've got a Zoom meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
8:30.
Kathy's going to have an intern as well, so your intern can come in and help you in this area.
Okay.
It's a big part of what they do. So that's a part of their responsibilities.
Okay.
So,
my
tell me what
biggest,
y'all think? Do y'all think that this is
Okay.
a good idea and it will very well represent us?
I
my
think it's-
biggest concern is the churches are not open yet. And
But
that
you-
would be the biggest area for Prospect.
Yeah,
And that
but
will
you got people in there that would help you, just
Mhm.
like at Prospect United Methodist. They would help you promote it and just say somebody's going to be there for drop-offs.
Exactly.
You know, you have drop-off times and
Okay.
people that are working, you know, you pick, if churches are not open, you actually
No,
have
they're not
drop-off times and just create. My church at Northwood
Okay.
Temple in Fayetteville, we're doing, we're for the Falcon Children's Home, they're doing a drive-through next week to collect food to take to the Falcon Children's Home. So they've got two
Okay.
different times set aside where we can take bags of food for them to be able to take to Falcon. So, you know, I think that will work, the drive-through. And again, once you get there, you've got access to all three, like Judy, your three principals. Once you know what you're going to do, your principals could actually send messages out to the parents, just, you know, asking them, even parents,
Ah,
would you be willing to do you know, we're collecting, and those parents that have more to give would be able to do some things as well. They could put it on their voicemail that goes out.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Okay.
you could ask them to do that.
Dr. Stedman, now with the boxes, are we going to drop the boxes off at each business or church?
Yeah, we would be responsible for getting it to them. Yeah.
Okay. I was just thinking ahead as far as, you know, trying to get boxes from Graphic Packaging. What would be a good number to start with? You think maybe 100?
Now we've got 6 communities, and
Okay.
you know, in some communities you got a church on every corner.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
6.
Prospect's
Um,
got one.
I would ask for 200 boxes.
200, okay. Just to get an idea, because I'm sure, you know, they'll ask that question, well, how many boxes do you need, you know, or do you want? Okay, no problem.
And then what I thought, this is what I was thinking.
Darn fun.
You could work through, think about the children where they're taking food to their homes. The buses are going to be taking food to their homes.
I'm going to Zoom. Call me.
Most of those children are going to be the same children that would be financial needs in those homes. Most
Right.
of them.
Right, yes.
So I was thinking that we would partner with the public schools once we got our stuff, and that those children where food was being taken to their homes, that they would be our top priority children to get home supplies to. Because food's already going there. We know that there's a need there with the food. I would think that would be align itself with the needs with school supplies as well.
Yeah, and I was thinking also, Dr. Stedman, that, we would probably need to pick up the supplies maybe once a week from the different businesses.
Well, that could be a part of, a part of what you do. And again, this drive, this could count because we're working school-wide. This
Mm-hmm.
can count as one of your tier supports too.
Yeah, it could be a tier 1.
Yeah, this could count as one of our tier supports, our
one
back to
support.
school drive and our focus on that could, and it's our parental involvement, community involvement, community engagement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But, Shirley, are you there?
Yeah.
I don't see Shirley. She must be in another meeting. Hey, I just want to make sure you were okay.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just on the road right now.
Okay. Well, then you just listen. That's all I want you to do. You and I had talked about this a little bit anyway. Okay. I just want to make sure you're okay. Okay.
Yeah.
What questions would you have about that? Now, this next week, this would be your main focus next week. And then when I come back the next week, that's when students come back. I think that if we can get this in motion next week, you can pretty much get this one taken care of in a week's time, probably. I'm thinking you can. The next week is our students come back, and then we'll focus the next week on beginning to make our contact with our students and those other things that you need to be working on. But I think our first big initiative needs to be working on our back to school supply drive. And that'll keep everything in motion and getting us started back to work next week. And if I don't have to be at the if they don't keep me in court, then I'll go help all of you and work with you at the. But what do y'all think? Do you think you think we can do this?
Absolutely.
I think so.
Okay.
Mhm.
Good.
So we're going to meet here, Kathy, for you to give us the boxes. We're going to meet here when to get the boxes.
Well,
all of you are going to meet. You're going to meet at the academy next Monday. That's where you would report next Monday and go ahead and get started on Kathy, I tell you what, because I've got Shirley on something else. I'd mentioned this to her, but I got Shirley on something else, and I don't want to overload her. She'll be okay with this because I've got Kathy. I'm going to put you in charge of this
okay.
because I need a go-to person. With
The whole
it.
project.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
the project, and you embrace any of them that you need to embrace them with. But I need somebody leading this project for me there.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, and I'm going to give Graphic Packaging. I'm going to give them a call today if I have time. I got to run an errand after this, and if I don't get to call them today, I'm going to call them tomorrow and go ahead and get on, getting our boxes.
And Maisie,
Yes.
you there? You are
Yes.
hers. You are to work with Kathy because you've got good connections as well. Do you mind doing that?
No, I do not.
Okay, thank you. And y'all have worked well together on other projects too. So
Oh, I work well with Kathy and everybody else.
y'all all work
Amazing.
well together. Y'all all work well together. But anyway, so
Kathy may want to check with Boise Cascade over there beside the zinc.
Are they still open?
I don't know for sure, but I
Yeah,
know
that's
that's
what I
where
was-
the brown boxes are made.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Graphic Packaging does the packaging for foods.
Yeah.
But I may be wrong now. Just
I
check.
think they also do corrugated boxes.
Okay.
But I'll find out. I'll go.
Did
All of them are pretty much located right there together.
Yeah.
And I know you've got International Paper that's on Kenny Biggs Road, and I know they do paper
Okay.
and they do boxes. I know they do a lot of the boxes for packaging like food products.
Okay.
So I can check with all of them to see.
And Dempsey used to have a contact name. I'm going to look for that contact name for you, Kathy.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
We'll look for that.
And I want to ask Miss Myrna something too. Miss Myrna, do you think sometime we can get together in regards to me getting information on the students who were 8th grade at CIS Academy that are going to the 9th grade at Purnell Sweat like I did last year?
Sure.
Okay, good. We'll talk after this meeting and we'll get together on that, and then that way I can add them to my caseload.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
And when y'all are in Lumberton, come in here and look. I've got things, we had to close down Carroll Middle School program. And so
Okay.
I've pulled all the stuff that Brianna had there, that Zaquan got last year, and then what Brianna had in Maxon. I've pulled that in to the office here. Miss Sonia and Summer have separated it.
Okay.
Miss Myrna, lots of books.
Oh, yeah, hold them for me.
Yeah, Miss Myrna,
Uh-huh.
look at it. And Miss Maisie,
Miss Merlin, not all of them
Yeah,
now. MT got to get some of them.
y'all will share. And then the thing is, the good thing about it is, once you know what you've got, once somebody has used a set, they can swap out with somebody else.
Right.
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 But when y'all get a chance, come by and just know that everybody needs to be able to pick and choose from what's in there, but come and see what you want from the stuff because I want it out of this office.
Okay.
All righty.
Okay.
We'll do. Thank you.
So, and
I'm close by.
I don't have to be here.
That's right, Miss Myrna. I meant Miss Maisie. You're close by.
I may make it before the storm tomorrow.
Hey, that'll be all right, Miss
I
Maisie.
don't know how long I'm going to be here tomorrow. So,
Mm.
but anyway, this is a good start, and we're going to make this year work and effective. I want to make sure that in spite of everything that we're facing and everything we're dealing with, I don't want CIS of Robeson County to go backwards one bit.
No.
We are at a good place. I'm looking at, in fact, Kathy and Shirley are going to be involved. Is it tomorrow? Is it tomorrow, Kathy?
The intern training?
Yeah,
With Miss
Zoom-
Freeman from UNCP?
no, that's Wednesday.
Oh.
Wednesday. That's the Zoom training with Miss Susan, the grant person.
Oh, yeah, Wednesday. That's
Yeah,
Wednesday
yeah.
at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, she and Shirley are going to be working with the lady from the state office with helping with some grant opportunities. Shirley has been involved in she's involved in and will continue to be involved in throughout the rest of this year in some diversity training. We're going to have to be a part of what she's doing as an affiliate. So Shirley will be ready in the very near future to let all of us know what it is that we've got to do to help with what the program they're working with from the national level. And I'm thinking, based on when Shirley presents this, I'm thinking that we'll be able to turn some of this into, or turn this into tier supports as well, based on what the programs that we've got to present or try to get out into the schools and the communities. I'm thinking that we'll be able to take that and turn it into something as well. We've still got our, like you said, our girls circle, boys. Did I say that right? Girls circle and boys.
It's Boys Council.
Boys Council
Boys
and
Council.
and then
Why try?
Why try? We've got that, and
Book clubs.
Yeah, book clubs. So we've got all of that we could, those are our dependables that we can still continue with.
Right.
So what questions would you have of me at this point? I've kept you about an hour almost.
Nothing yet.
That's a lot for you to be able to think about and to get started with. At this point, if you have questions about our drive, communicate first with Kathy, and then from there, if there's something that she needs from me, then she'll and Maisie, and
Yeah.
then they'll reach out to me if they need to.
Okay.
Caseloads will remain the same.
Do what now? Yes, the caseloads will remain the same at this point.
Okay.
At this point, they have not, nothing has changed at this point. That may be a question that that we need to ask Akila as well, Miss Myrna.
Okay.
Okay. And I just want to thank, most of you have been, I've sent you all kind of stuff. You try to make the effort to join in and to, to be a part of it. And, I know it's on your time. I really appreciate your dedication and, to do this, because you don't have to do it. And I really appreciate, staying abreast of things and being involved with things on your own. That has not gone unnoticed. I really appreciate you doing that.
Okay, I have one favor. I think last year, I'm looking, I think almost everybody joined our reading council. I worked, and Miss Janice Gardner and Nancy Johnson and Donovan from Magnolia. We have worked all summer. In fact, we couldn't have our celebration for the young authors, but we had to drive to Winston-Salem and pick up those books for kids that were state winners. We did that. We had the drive-through celebration the other week. It was really nice for those kids that came. They were real appreciative. And I said all that to say this. We are really working hard to keep this council going. Our little library, if you've been to different places like parks, there's one at the Oaks for just the Oaks kids. They didn't need the little library. They got libraries at home, but they did. But our library that the Reading Council sponsored is going to be in the Marietta area. It's really nice. We're going to keep it supplied with books. The council is. So I'm asking you to join for me. It's $25. I mean, and we've got a great lineup. We already have an author on program. We have Laura Britt, who did our literacy training here for the Academy last year. She's on program, and I've forgotten some of the others, but it's really good. You don't have to come, you know that. I could look at you and say point blank, all I want is your $25. But because of that, kids from your area, and it's the high school too, Miss Kathy, will have the opportunity to write and be published in this book. I'm so tired of it looking like Wake County has all the kids in the state who can write, or Charlotte Mecklenburg. We got kids who can write too.
Exactly.
But we can't give them that opportunity if we don't have members.
Right.
Well, you'll get my $25, Miss Myrna. So you can count on me. And I will tell you this.
Just remind us next week, Miss Myrna, and I'll bring it to you.
Okay.
I'll join back, Miss Myrna.
And I will tell you, my son,
and you don't know
my
how
son
much
benefited.
I appreciate that.
My son
I really
benefited
do.
from this, the young authors, many, many years ago when he was in middle grades. He benefited from, and actually we went to Winston-Salem, and I have his books where he had published work, and he was a winner,
Wow.
at that level. So I know what you're talking about. You'll get my $25.
Thank you.
All right.
You got mine too, Miss Myrna.
Thank you so much. And if you need me to rub your back for something, you just let me know.
I will do.
But anyway, well, listen, thank y'all so much. This is it's been a very productive meeting. Very.
All right.
Hooray,
Shirley.
We got a lot accomplished. And I am looking forward to working with, and I'll tell you this, I'm working with the best team in the world, and I'm looking forward
What happened to Mizzou?
having
There you are. We see you.
yeah, but anyway. Well, listen, y'all have a good one, and I'll talk to you later then.
You too.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, Miss
Bye.
Kathy, what did you need to meet later for, Miss Kathy?
We need to meet on me going to the academy, CIS Academy, and those students who were 8th graders that have been promoted to the 9th grade who are planning to
Okay,
sweat. I need to pull their information because see, we don't have that information in Power School.
Do you want to do it this week?
Yeah, I can probably do it. I could probably
Okay.
do it Wednesday afternoon after our grant meeting.
What time's that?
It's from 10 until 12.
So you want to do it at what time?
Say maybe in between, well, 1:30, 2 o'clock, just say 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock on Wednesday?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds good.
Now,
Thank you, Myrna.
what do you specifically need? I may could have it pulled for you.
Okay, you know how what I'll need to do is have the information on their grades.
Which is their 8th grade grade?
Yeah, I need the 8th grade information because that will be my baseline numbers to start with.
Okay.
And I'll also need their attendance information.
Okay.
okay. Mhm.
Y'all got it now?
That
Yes.
it?
Thank you, Miss
We're gonna
Myrna.
leave.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Bye, y'all.